ずいぶん元気っぽいじゃない。
Welcome to Let's Go Rider Cook. Today, do you know what this is?
Wobbly.
Do you know what else this is?
Daikon.
Daikon. Agito. My favourite.
Best plotted, in my humble opinion.
It's a very, very good show, but also it is a very food show.
それから今日の夕食どうします？
また君が作るのかね。
Because the main rider, Kamen Rider Agito,
はい。
is known as Shouichi, and he is an allotment gardener.
どうしてこんなにでっかくなるんだ？
そりゃあいいだよ。はい。
He's a domestic, basically. He's an extremely domestic person. He starts the series, amnesiac, being looked after by a professor and his two. And Shouichi is basically their housekeeper. He fills the role that would, in a very traditional family, be filled by the mother. He doesn't have a job, or rather, he doesn't have a job he's paid for. He stays home all day, he cleans, he cooks, he goes shopping for food, he brings people things when they forget them. He's fulfilled by domestic life. That is his calling.
8 out of 10 times, in my memory, in my mind, he has to go and fight a monster while he's doing the shopping.
Yeah.
And his henshin sequence includes dropping shopping bags.
Yes.
Like if there was a Kamen Rider game and like I was directing it, his intro animation would include the dropping of shopping bags.
He's sort of pushed towards becoming a professional restaurateur, but that's really only because everybody needs a source of income, and Shouichi can't be a wife because he's a man, and that's not commonly an option. And for me, it's very relaxing to see domestic fulfillment in a male character, and also domestic fulfillment in a character who also gets action scenes and important things to do. It's different when an action woman, an important woman character, is shown to also enjoy her domestic life, because on the one hand, good, but on the other hand, that's still just women are domestic. Whereas with Shouichi, it's the main character of Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider loves to cook, Kamen Rider loves to grow vegetables, and he loves to clean the house for the people that he loves. It's very important, I think, that you watch Agito and you watch Shouichi and you get to know him and his gardening. Because Shouichi most of all likes to grow Daikon. He grows various different vegetables, and I think that must be his power, because you can't grow that many plants in that short of a time. The series isn't that long. He must have some sort of psychic power, and I think it must be vegetable related. But we're going with Daikon, because there are lots of things you can do with Daikon, and Shouichi, when he grows a vegetable, he will just serve up that vegetable with everything done to it for dinner. If he's grown peppers, it's peppers for dinner. His chosen family don't necessarily appreciate it, but you will, because we're going to make Daikon pickles, which you can put on rice or pizza or just eat as a snack, and we're also going to make Daikon mochi. So, now if you are British, or in fact otherwise not Japanese, you may recognise this as a movie. That's how they sell them in British supermarkets, which I believe is a West Asian name for the same vegetable. That's just a tip for you. But we're starting with a Daikon mochi, and for that you need to grate this, so I will.
I'm not going to talk for this bit because it's noisy.
Now you must salt it. You can use a courgette for this. You can use a more regular radish. Depending on where you are, there will be an option, a locally grown option, that is basically the same. You could use a beetroot if you wanted. Let's just look up what kind of plants are the same and then use that. If you want to grate a courgette, then that will give out a lot of liquid once you salt it. I don't know how much liquid these give out because I haven't done this before. Once you've got your salt on, you put it in the fridge, and this is going to soften the flesh instead of cooking it. You can cook it if you want, but I don't want to.
Do you have to peel the daikon before you grate
You do not
it?
have to peel the daikon before you grate it. I took
you.
off the hairy bits
Yeah,
because I
you
think
wanna
they're
do that.
yucky. Only on food. Another reason that I like it that Shouichi is domestic is that men get famous for doing women's work in a rock star fashion. Like the most famous chefs, the most famous fashion designers often, and so on and so on. Women's silly things. Men can get famous for doing them amazingly, but it's still not really taught to boys to do them at home. So seeing Shouichi be cooking, ironing, etc. on the everyday level and not having a problem with it, that's quite good too. This is for the pickles. Once you get to the skinny end when you're grating your daikon, you won't be able to grate it anymore, you'll just hurt yourself. So save the tail, peel it, and we'll just pickle it. Nothing gets wasted. I do wonder, if his fish technique is worth anything.
His fish technique. Remind me what his fish technique is?
When Shouichi goes shopping for fish, puts his finger in their mouths to test which one is freshest.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's real, but I also kind of do.
It does sound like classic old magic mummery, doesn't it? Like, what's he expecting? Is it going to bite if it's fresh?
Because Hikawa tries that one time,
He does.
and he can't make head nor tail of it, but Hikawa is not a very domestic.
Well, he is a
person, is
stuffy policeman. He doesn't understand magic.
That's true.
Of course, it is presented as kind of a joke, so it is a joke in the tricking.
Slice it now. And how much you slice is going to depend on the jar that you have. We have this jar, which I have sterilised, as you saw at the beginning. And that's not necessarily going to fit too many, so I'm not going to cut too many. But I am going to include some garlic in here for flavouring, and also because pickled garlic's really nice. So that's that. Half your jar full of water goes in there. Half your jar full of white wine vinegar, or any pale vinegar really, as long as it's not dark malt or balsamic or anything. You can use pickling vinegar, you can buy that, it's lightweight. It goes in there too. And a spoonful of salt. How much salt, again, will depend on how big your jar is. For pickling, you want approximately 1 tablespoon of salt to 1 American cupful. I'm not sure how much that corresponds, but you can buy measuring funnels like the one that I have, which you've seen in previous videos, that will tell you exactly how much an American cupful is. It's not the same as a British cupful, and that's not even the same
German
as a
cupful,
mugful,
French
because of
cupful,
course every mug is
Australian
different,
cupful.
and every country is different too.
Pretty sure American cupfuls are bigger.
They might be, yeah. But I'm going to use this spoonful for this small jar.
That is a heaped Weetabix spoonful, that's the technical term.
And what we want is just for this liquid to boil for a few seconds and the salt to dissolve away. And that's all good. But talking about jars, you can buy a jar. You can buy a special jar from
Jar shop.
jar shop, cook shop, any shop. But the special jars, what they're called, Kilner jars, you can buy those. Don't buy these coloured ones, because you can't sterilise those. It's a trick. Buy clear glass jars. But what kind doesn't matter, you can get the ones with the lock tops like we have, you can get screw tops, or you can just reuse a jar that
You can buy jars that already come with food in.
Yeah.
Enjoy the food.
Eat the food and then use the jar. Like, we have an earlier example of Daikon pickles, which I will show you a little later. I don't remember what used to be in that jar. Might have been jam. I think it was the pesto from the Helheim salad.
There you go.
Just eat all the pesto, wash the jar, take the label off, soak it in water, and then the label will just come off because it's just paper. Make sure the jar is dry. Sterilise it in the oven. You can look up how to do that. not hard though. Don't burn yourself, but then you will have a sterilised jar that is perfectly suitable for this. And you just fill it right up to the top, screw the top on. Easy. You want the hot liquid to go in the hot jar and then put the lid on immediately and it will vacuum seal. It's very fine. You can Google it. Don't just take my word. Do the research, but it is totally possible and you won't die. Okay?
If you do, it's not our fault.
But you won't. You don't have to put sugar in, but I'm going to, because I didn't last time. You should try it without first and see if you like it, because while sugar is a necessary part of your diet, it is not a necessary part of every meal, every piece. So some people like sweet pickles, some people like saltier pickles. It all depends on you, and you can make up your mind. That's the point of cooking. You can change it to how you like it. Isn't that magical?
Change, like Kamen Rider.
So that's boiling. I turn it off. Got all the stuff in here.
Whoop.
Packed it in nicely. Got a garlic in there, got a garlic in there. They're sprouting because that's what just happens if you leave them too long, but that's fine, it won't kill you.
Don't worry.
Gotta put this back on the jar.
So if you don't remember to say kiln the jars, just say, you know, the ones with the rubber seals, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pour it all in. Up to the top. It's gonna spill, but that's fine. That's a good thing. Done. Pickles. After this daikon has had half an hour in the fridge with salt, it's really smelly. It smells a bit cabbagey, a bit like raw mushrooms. It's quite smelly.
So make it right now.
Daikon from earlier in the week doesn't smell like that. This one doesn't smell like that. So I don't know what it is about this way of preparing it, but it won't always smell. You need to dry it out, because as I said, it was drawing out the water. So I've just been pressing it with a kitchen towel like this.
Something else for you.
Goes in the bowl, and it doesn't really stick to the paper. See how moist that is? And you just add enough flour to this to make little patties. You use rice flour, which you can get either in the supermarket or in a health food shop. Recipes vary. Some say use non-glutinous rice flour, which is easier to find. And some say use half glutinous rice flour. So I'm going to use half and half because I like the texture of sweet mochi, which is made from glutinous rice flour. So I put half and half flour in. I'm using this to mix it, my scraper. You can buy this in cook shops and you just use any old thing. Or you could use a wooden salad fork, which I quite like using, but I don't have one at the moment. You just mix them together. You can add flavourings here if you want to. That is allowed.
What kind of flavourings would Agito have?
I don't know.
Throw in some chili for Agito flame form.
Yeah. Got whatever kind of pale oil you like in there. And then about the same amount of sesame oil, which will make it very flavoury even without extra flavourings. I put in some garlic because that tastes good and I like to. And that's what you can do when you cook for yourself, like I keep telling you. That's the whole joy of it. You can do what you want and please yourself.
We've just had someone on Twitter ask, well, yeah, it was a sort of rhetorical question about how annoying either of us found mana. Which is a really strange question to me, but I mean, this question wasn't just from some rando, was it?
It was a question from Jonathan, who,
At Where's My Henchman Belt? Wait, no, at The Imposter, but his show's called Where's My Henchman Belt.
That's right. Who was very kind during the initial Indiegogo funding campaign, because I needed some money to buy the ability to export these videos.
He was a mensch,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
So I owe you, Jonathan, a video of your choice.
To Jonathan's question, I don't actually find anyone in Agito annoying, that's why it's such a good series. Even Hojo, who is supposed to be a jackass.
Well, he is so annoying, but it's like the way that Nago is annoying.
Yeah, and he's annoying, but you've got...
drives the series and the emotional connection.
But he's only annoying because you've got Osawa there, and because you've got Osawa there, it's fine. And the Overlord, who is ostensibly the villain of the piece, is more of an interesting, god archetype than he is an annoying bad guy who you wish would go away so you could have more cute hero times. Everybody fulfills a role.
Even the kid.
Even the kid. I can't remember. Is his name, is it Daiichi?
Yes.
Daiichi is, he's kind of a savant, but he's one of those cool savants who doesn't flaunt it too much, and he just sort of, I don't know, he might come off as a bit sarcastic now and then, but he gets so little screen time, he's just kind of a fonz to Agito. So I dig Daiichi.
And he does allow the introduction of Sakaki Aki.
Yeah,
who I love.
Aki's great. And Ryo, who really kind of should be the anti-hero, that's Gills. He's just more... They really amp up the misguided aspect of his character. He doesn't do anything that annoys me apart from, Havel, his girlfriends die, but that's not his fault. And he gets
Agito is not perfect. There are things to
definitely not.
criticize in that series, but
Still one of my favourites.
yeah.
And I don't usually like to say a character annoys me. Usually the writing does. But in Agito, everybody does their job, man. It's as simple as that.
I'm going to put the lid on that.
These are what Daikon burgers look like.
Yep, turn it down, put the lid on. Let it sort itself out, really. And here's one I made earlier.
People even get that reference anymore.
Yeah, I made these last week so I could have something to show you when I did this video, but I have eaten most of them. Here's one. You hear the crunch? It's loud. They're really nice. These ones are yellow because I put in turmeric and ginger. Because you can put in any flavour that you like.
Yeah, I really dug those ones. Took them outside, I ate them, it was good.
I took them on a picnic. Because they have that salty, vinegary taste, because you put salt and vinegar in, and they're crunchy. So it is just like eating crisps, except if you're on a lovely picnic, you don't have to wrestle with plastic bags and have rubbish and
I
stuff.
think we should unpack the word picnic a little. If you get some food you like, especially if you make it yourself, and then go somewhere you like and eat the food, that is pretty much a picnic. You don't have to be an anthropomorphic hedgehog with a little apron on. You don't have to live in the magic ladybird garden. It is just a case of take food outside, not even necessarily outside, somewhere else. Enjoy.
The hills are alive with the sound of your laughter.
The hills or the abandoned asylum.
But here we are.
Hey!
These are our Daikon mochi. They're really nice. See, there's not one here because I ate it. I was going to take these outside to show you our vegetable garden, but there are people out there because it's shared. And so I am shy and don't want to do that anymore. Mochi platter, mochi pickle, mochi? Fuck. Daikon. Daikon pickles, Daikon mochi, and I was going to do another thing, but the supermarket didn't have any mirror in it and they didn't want to help us find it.
Oh my god.
These are really nice.
Yeah!
They taste a bit like turnip, which is probably why they're called turnip cakes. And if you haven't tried turnip, which you probably haven't because it's not actually that common anymore, then give these a try.
Hi.
You can have, here you go, have soy sauce on them. Or you can dip them in chili sauce, but we've run out and I haven't made any more yet. You can put hummus on them. They really remind me of something actually, I just can't think of what. And the sesame oil, don't worry about it not having any extra flavourings if you just use the rice flour, because that is all that you need. The sesame oil is absolutely fine.
I'll tell you what they remind me of, and this could make or break for some people. Because I haven't had them since I was a kid, but chicken McNuggets. They're warm and light and tangy.
This is our vegetable patch. There are potatoes. There are other potatoes. And so,
There's stuff up on the shelf there as
like Shouichi, we're only growing one thing. So when these are done, we'll have to show you many things to be done with potatoes.
Right.
The best way to do these recipes I've showed you today would be to grow your own daikon, but if you can't do that...
Totally.
Actually, you probably could try. Yeah, do it.
Try it yourself.
Dig in.